Hello and good afternoon. A very warm welcome to this virtual conversation brought to you by People Matters in association with Medtronic. I am Bhavna Sareen, your host for this exciting conversation. It's my privilege today to be in conversation with Mr. Titus Arnold, Director of Human Resources, India and Commercial Excellence APAC at Medtronic. Titus has a rich and diverse experience across sectors like FMCG, automotive, industry, and healthcare. He held key leadership and people manager roles in large and medium enterprises. He has exposure across compensation, benefits, HR operations, learning and development, organizational development, employee engagement, as well as industrial relations. Titus joined Medtronic India as the head of HR in November 2006. Currently, he is the Director of Human Resources for India and Commercial Excellence APAC, a leading global healthcare technology company, Medtronic. Titus is also responsible for driving the HR strategy that aligns with the strategic imperatives of Medtronic. His key areas of focus are human capital management, change management, talent acquisition, and HR operations. A very warm welcome to you, Titus.
Thank you.
So, before we begin this interesting conversation, without any further ado, now let me begin with our first question. In this period of transformation, how has the role of HR evolved, and how do these changes in HR propel businesses even further?
So there are a few things that was happening in the environment in which we operate. Most recently, COVID and innovation in the healthcare space. So with the onset of COVID-19 pandemic last year, we faced an unprecedented challenge just like everyone else. This demanded a complete rethinking and recalibration of the workspace as we know it. The pivotal function played by human resources became more evident than ever before. And we stepped in and stepped up by leading a rapid response to the pandemic and keeping the workforce engaged, productive, and resilient. So the COVID situation has redefined the future of work, insofar as it won't be business as usual anymore. So, sensing this and other factors like intense innovation that's happening in the healthcare space, we had to transform and also transform our ecosystem. So, the first thing is we had to live the agile mindset like never before. So, right from getting things done while working from home to supporting our patients and customers. So, our workforce strategies address this new normal. So, driving change, adoption of work from home, and adaptation to the new normal was important in this transformation journey. And employees are social beings and they need in person forums and platforms to express themselves and interact with one another. So, we realized these requirements and worked internally with technology enablers in our company, sourcing, and with total rewards to enable policy and give employees a seamless experience, all of which are very critical for the transformation journey. And no transformation can take place without appropriate technology enabled communication. We had a great partnership with IT and comms. This partnership enabled excellent communication to employees, and we got some very good feedback and high engagement scores in internal and external surveys. The other important aspect is sustaining companies' performance. The initial phase was a learning curve, but we looked at data and this made us focus our attention to upskilling our employees to serve patients and customers virtually. There were many training sessions enabled by IT to help employees use technology and serve our customers remotely. The best part is life did not come to a standstill. Our employees were given opportunities to make an impact, not only within India, but across APAC. So we have a program called eTalentX that provided this avenue. It's a virtual talent exchange program within APAC. For effective transformation and business success, employment engagement is key. And we spent our efforts in this area: engagement, participation in the decision making process, and social impact initiatives. We found that it nurtures a sense of pride that positively affects motivation and discretionary effort in employees. We ran a program called Rubaru. In Urdu, it means face to face. So this program was a program to facilitate upward communication and respond with key actions. So all of this agile mindset, sustaining performance, employee engagement really helped us to transform in this space.
Medtronic India has recently been conferred with a Great Place to Work certification. How does this hunger for innovation translate into the way Medtronic nurtures cutting edge talent?
Medtronic has taken some very bold steps to acquire and nurture talent. We have been very intentional to hire people very close to our markets, even though they are very far and remote. And we stand differentiated because we have invested in headcount, whereas many others have experimented with contingent staffing. In the Great Place to Work survey, we scored 84% on welcoming people and making them feel at home. So once a person joins, there is a very rigorous program in place to train them to do their job very well. The hygiene factors of providing the tools are also given great attention and care. And we pride ourselves of having nearly Six Sigma capability in this area. Our actions to help build a vibrant employee community who comes every day to serve the mission. And that's very critical for us. The other aspect is the award and recognition program that we have. This fosters innovation. And in addition to this, we also have had signature programs, something very similar to the Shark Tank, where employees pitch their ideas and receive funding to implement the best ideas. This is very, very competitive. And this year alone, we received close to 62 applications from employees for their ideas. So let me give you a little bit of perspective on how employees also feel working for Medtronic. And this is very key for discretionary effort and innovation. So 91% of employees felt they were treated fairly at work. 90% employees felt they're proud to share with others they work for Medtronic. And 90% employees feel they're treated very fairly, regardless of their race, caste, or gender. In addition to this, other areas that they have called out is management processes competence. They also have commented that as individuals, they're able to make a difference. They feel welcomed and they feel that we are delivering satisfactory customer service. And one data point that really goes to prove the point is our attrition stands lower than the industry figures by at least 2%. And so we have spent a lot of time and effort to make Medtronic in India a great place to work. And incidentally, this is the third time Medtronic India has been certified as a great place. So all this provides the critical ingredients for attracting talent, retaining talent, and developing talent who are very eager to learn and innovate.
I think the pandemic has proven that people are an organization's greatest asset, and employees are realizing how employee health and well being are critical to organizational productivity, innovation, and growth. So, considering the ongoing global health crisis, and of course, accompanied with multiple lockdowns and employees working remotely, how has Medtronic responded to the challenge of keeping a happy, healthy, and engaged workforce?
Medtronic has a mission which has 6 tenets. And this was written way back in the 60s. And the tenets of the mission have not changed except for one word, where it talks about development of all employees versus generally employees. And that's how consistent we are with our mission. And this mission talks about the most important asset, our people. So the broad range of ideas and diversity of experiences brought by our employees is what drives our innovation and problem solving approach, which ultimately results in better outcomes for our patients. So during the pandemic, our emphasis has been on total well-being. So we address the body, mind, and soul of our employees. So we regularly ran campaigns and communicated with employees, mailers, virtual meetings, and conference calls to keep them absolutely engaged. We had special task forces to attend to anybody who had a problem with COVID 19, not only for them, but also for their families. We also formed groups across our cities and towns, and all of them were equipped with all the information that was necessary to support anybody and everybody in time of need. We also had a chatbot. And this is the level of innovation. We had a chatbot that was able to disseminate any information about where to go, who to go for help. The other is the rewards and recognition. And we used a lot of forums to reward and recognize our people. So uh, we used to have the bounce back calls, and these were fortnightly calls. That was meant to provide a lot of communication, which was it was meant to communicate success and the achievements of our employees. So these forums were used to recognize and reward outstanding performance and above and beyond work. And it was very interesting because the managing director personally led these calls. There was no letdown on the tempo and the messaging that was given fortnight after fortnight. So I must say that our leaders and managers did a wonderful job of engaging with their teams also through informal interactions with a lot of fun and games to help employees come together and also enable people to interact and also overcome the effects of loneliness. We also provided simple infrastructure at home so that employees have a hassle-free employee experience. And this space is dynamic because we are constantly looking for ways and means to ensure a wonderful employee experience. So if I have to sum up how our efforts were perceived by our employees, the proof is in the latest result of Great Place to Work, where we got the Great Place to Work certification. And I must say that what is gratifying is that we improved our scores in all the areas. And like I mentioned before, our attrition data also tells a big story that, employees love this company and they're very dedicated to serve the mission.
So, when we speak of inclusion, an integral element of building an inclusive culture is the way an organization values employees at a very personal level. And Medtronic is renowned for valuing the personal worth of all employees. So, could you tell us a little more about how Medtronic is driving a culture of belonging and how has this resulted in a positive employee experience?
I'll take that word employee experience because that is what we spent a lot of our time, energy, and intellect to figure out what would it take to give our employees a wonderful employee experience. So if you look at the employee life cycle, right from hiring to exit, we make sure that at different stages of this life cycle, the employee experience is a great experience. So at Medtronic, we've used the human capital insights to enable us to improve in areas like learning and development, looking at attrition, looking at high potentials, and also understanding the trends in organization health. We've also looked at how we can be innovative in this space by developing some very simple models of how to predict attrition. We also do regular pulse surveys to understand what employees are thinking and feeling at any given point of time. So all these initiatives enabled us to improve our inclusion and innovation at work. We also focused on work-life balance as an important area under the employee experience. So this may sound a bit cliched, but for us, we ensured that employees had flexible working experience. We provided the tools for ease of work and made sure that there are other conveniences so that employees have a wonderful experience. We also ran employee assistance programs, and we also made sure that we brought variety to our employee assistance programs. We not only engaged our employees, but also got the families involved. So our programs were not restricted only to employees, but also to employees, their children. And this was very, very well received because it really, in a very difficult time where people had difficulty in mobility, in going out, when everybody was all at home, these provided the breather and the outlet to enable the employees really feel good about the programs that has been offered. Most important thing is, how were we able to stay human in these unprecedented times? The COVID-19 situation drastically altered our work conditions, and we relied on technology, and that helped us to a large extent, and really made sure that work did not come to a grinding halt, but went on and on. And people appreciated the company and its resilience in quickly rising to the occasion. So we from HR also, drove a lot of crucial conversations with the leadership and made the leaders appreciate the human factor in for the success of the organization. And together, we were able to formulate strategies that helped us to remain abreast in the evolving situation. And during these very extraordinary times, we were able to take very progressive steps in dealing with these key themes of empathy and keeping the employee total well-being in mind. And all of this has paid dividends because employees' trust and confidence in the company really helped them to serve the purpose for which we are all here today.
How's Medtronic inspiring today's generation of talent, and what is your approach to creating a great workplace, especially today as we work remotely and we have a multi-generational workforce?
See, our goal is to be the undisputed leader in healthcare technology. And to fulfill this purpose, we have taken it upon ourselves to connect with a very diverse talent across India. So, in addition to the traditional approach to go to campus, we have gone to tier 2 and tier 3 towns. We have also hired people who represent some of the disease states we serve. And this approach helps us to understand our constituents better because this cuts across locations where we serve, and we get very rich insights with this approach. By we also get generational insights and insights from people who have chronic disease. So that all of this helps us to serve our constituents better. And by doing all this in a diverse manner, it holds us in good stead to be the undisputed leader in healthcare technology.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Titus. It was really great talking to you and understanding how is Medtronic India working towards, building that ecosystem of communication, great consistent communication from leadership and managers, and weaving that into employee well-being, engagement, and innovation in the current times, and tying it all together to create that entire element of a great employee experience. And undoubtedly, that's why I believe Medtronic India has been bestowed with that recognition. So thank you so much. But before we close, any key takeaways from you, Titus, that you would want our viewers today to go back with?
So, for me, the biggest takeaway is that, the unprecedented times that we live in makes it very, very important for us to have a very agile way of doing things. And therefore, the flexibility that is required now is more demanding than ever before. The other aspect is, and especially for us in HR, our ability to understand the nuances of business and respond in this agile manner really can help any company be very, very successful in stable times or turbulent times.
Thank you so much for that, Titus. That was a wonderful note to close this conversation on. Thank you so much for your time and for your invaluable insights throughout this conversation. It was indeed a pleasure speaking with you today. We're now
Thank you
going to
so
wrap up
much.
this. We're now going to wrap up this conversation. Have a great day ahead and stay safe. Thank you once again for your time.